Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. Welcome back to High Top Sports. Steve and I, we've been out, but we're back better than ever. Steve and Chad, what's up, big dog?
My man, it is good to see you again. And for all the folks out there who are not watching right now, we missed you.
We did. Steve and I were gone this past week. We left for a little trip. We went up to old North Carolina. We didn't have any phone service, which was absolutely incredible. We were
unbelievably good. Like we didn't get yelled at. We didn't have phone calls. There was no internet connection. Like we literally just lived in a mountain for about 5 days.
It was absolutely magical. But we I would say we exhausted ourselves. I was gone from Friday and did not stop until Wednesday morning. And one of our buddies got married on Tuesday, 2/22/22 on a Tuesday. And as you would assume, you know, we kind of partied a little hard. And it's been wearing and tearing on us even till today. We have been dragging our feet to make it to this point. So it's
but you know what? But you and I talked off cast, and we said, I think these guys missed us. I think some of these folks missed.
We had a few people asking where we were, so we appreciated it. We felt bad for missing it, but we're here now. So
we're doing it for the people. For the people, trust us. It's not for us. It's not for us. Both of us would rather just call it a night and not have to and not even have to be doing this thing.
For sure,
we're doing it for them.
Here we are, though. Moving into our first topic, we're going to go over Gator basketball, a little bit of Gator football talk. We're going to talk about, we've got a little bracketology we're going to go over, which is going to be pretty fun, something new we're going to try, see how you guys like that. And possibly go into some other controversial topics. We'll kind of feel the waters out and see how things are going before we dive into all that. So let's jump right into it. Oh, we got some people here. Copper Top V, go Gators. Yes, sir. Mark Hambrook, go Gators. Absolutely, go Gators. Muddy Waters, y'all camp with Zion Williamson. He's been missing too. Yeah, everyone's MIA lately.
Everyone's my man Muddy. Welcome back, buddy.
Welcome back.
Good to see you again.
Mark, we're going to get into that recruiting here in just a minute. But first thing, I want to go over something. All right. Florida had a huge upset against Auburn this past weekend when we were in North Carolina. They've obviously played since then, have lost. But I wanted to go over that Auburn game a little bit because it was a huge W. It's the first time ever Florida had beat a top AP team at home. Absolute big deal. And they rushed the court. Now, I want to kind of talk about it really quick, and then we're going to ask the question, is it bad? So, in all my time, I've never seen Florida's football team or basketball team ever rush the court. Ever. And I've always wondered why. I know Florida, I know the UF Swamp, they're not very big fans about it, but I feel like there's always a time and a place for it when it should happen. And I think this past Saturday was one of those times when it should have happened. But there has been a lot of pushback that I was actually surprised to see from Gator fans of not happy about it. They didn't like it at all. And I was a little taken back about it. I was trying to read about it, see what the deal was. Steve, you had some insight on it, and that was kind of where the other people were talking about it. How do you feel about this?
So
you're not a Gator fan, so you're going to have a non-biased opinion from like, hey, not an emotional feeling. Like if Florida State were to do this, how would you feel?
And this is just from a Florida State standpoint. This is from if you're a good team and you expect to be a good team, act like you should win. Act as if you should be there. You should great win by Florida. The top two, I think, is what
Auburn was number 2 at the time.
But act as if you are supposed to be there and you're not surprised by victory. And, I get every once in a while the emotions run high. And so I'm not too put off by it. But in the grand scheme of things, Florida has multiple basketball championships. Act as if you've been here before. There's no reason to rush the court.
So that's kind of where the old-time Gators, I would call them, that's where I was kind of noticing it, right? The guys that have been there a while, that was their take on it. Act like we're supposed to do that. Act like we're supposed to be here. And I get it. But let's keep in mind of who rushed the court, right? These are 18, 19, 17-year-old kids that don't really have that history of Florida yet. None of them really, I mean, they were all, what, probably 16 or I would say 3 or 4 or 5 years old when Florida really had their dominance in basketball and in football. So it's been a long time since they've seen that team be dominant. So that's who rushed the court, right? Were these kids, and they've seen this up and down of a season. I loved it. I've always, as being a Gator fan, I've seen the Auburn do it. I've seen Texas A&M do it. I've seen the Louisvilles. And again, you can claim, well, look at the schools you're naming off, right? These schools that weren't really top dogs that have always been fighting to get a spot. And that's why they're storming the fields or rushing the courts or whatever it may be. I understand rushing the fields. Football's a little bit different, right? But basketball, even if you're a number 2 seed or whatever it may be, or basketball is so up and down. Anybody can win at any given second. So when a number 2 seed comes in and they're not even counting that for you to win and for you to go out there and beat them, and it was ugly the last few seconds. We almost blew it. It was unbelievable. It's huge. So I'm okay with it. What sucks, and Mark mentions this, is they got fined $50,000 for it, which is like, and you said, how do you fine a school when, what do they do with the kids? I mean, are they supposed to run them over? I mean, this happens all the time. I don't understand. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me why the fine happened, why people are so upset about it. I'm not okay with it. Let's see what some of the fans are saying. The AJ show.
Look, the fine doesn't make any sense. Like you can't, like, how many people are you going to put in front of the student section to keep them from running on the court?
Right? How do you?
I get that part. That makes no sense at all. However, that being said, Auburn's not even like a rival for you guys. Like they're not,
but it was a number 2
seed. They're just highly ranked. But I mean, like, storm the court on a team that is your rival consistently. Like, you run the court because you won a game in basketball. Keep in mind, it's basketball. You might only, play this team, 4 times a year. You might play them again in the SEC championship. It's just a little bit.
It's still again, it's the number 2 seed. It was more of the idea of, hey, it's a big win than the fact that it was like, if it was an FSU. If it was like FSU was ranked number 2 and they go in there and beat FSU, I mean, yeah, I could see what you're saying, right? There's a little more validity on why they would storm the court, right?
Look, and FSU has done it. I've been there for a game where FSU beat a Duke or a North Carolina. And they did the same thing. There was no fine. There was no penalty.
Muddy said it was a COVID fine. So that has a little more reasoning to it. But a good point to what he just said. Auburn has lost 3 out of the last 4 lately. And that kind of leads us into our next part, where the top 6 teams lost this weekend, which was absolute mayhem and exciting leading into what is going to be March Madness here in just a few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, the regular season just got madness before March Madness even started.
Yes.
That's how crazy this was. Let's go down the list here real fast. So we have Gonzaga. They lost to St. Mary's. Arizona loses to Colorado. Auburn loses to Tennessee. Their second loss in so many days.
Yeah.
Purdue goes down to Michigan State. Kansas to Baylor. Not a bad loss. Baylor's in the top 10.
Yep.
Kentucky goes down to Arkansas, and
which is not a bad loss.
Not at all. And then Texas Tech loses to TCU. Like, what in the world just happened? If you're in Vegas right now, you're up against a wall. Like, you get shut down. There's no chance in hell that you pick this parlay.
That parlay, yeah, that's 6-legger. So the AJ show said we need this game in order to help our chances for the tourney, and I totally agree. And so what losing to Arkansas didn't help. It was almost kind of like a wash, but it definitely had a huge push. I think we moved into the first 4 in now. Now, that was before the game against Arkansas. We play Tuesday against Vandy and then Saturday against Kentucky. That game's going to be huge against Kentucky. It's in Florida. You can see Kentucky lost this weekend. I think it's showing that all these teams are beatable, which is going to make, again, for an incredible March Madness tournament, because when you don't have this dominant 1 through 5 seeds, and that's what makes the dance so exciting, because it just takes one big game. That's all it is. So it's a huge help.
Look, I think right now, with the way that Florida's playing, that they are in the bubble of the first four in. They need one more win. And just a little bit of a strong showing in the SEC champion tournament, which I don't think is going to be difficult for them. They're actually starting to play good basketball. So that being said, I actually think that Florida's in the tournament.
Yeah, and so the AJ just said, what are your thoughts on us actually making the tourney or not? I think, like you said, I think there's a good opportunity. I think some things have to happen in front of us, but look, if they can get hot, that's what basketball, what the tournament makes so fun is it's getting hot at the right time. And Kentucky, that game Saturday is going to be huge. It's going to be in the Swamp. I'm calling if they pull it off, if they beat Kentucky, I wouldn't be surprised to see another another court to be stormed. Okay, just because of all the noise from this past Saturday, right? Well, 2 Saturdays ago now, but all the noise from that. And to go in there and beat Kentucky. Kentucky, in a sense, is a rival for basketball. So that would 100% make sense for all that to go down.
That one I'll give you. Yep. Look, and hey, let's just real fast. And I know a lot of the folks that are watching and are commenting are Florida fans. Can we just talk about for 1 second?
Go ahead.
For 1 second.
Go ahead.
The most amazing basketball play that I think I have seen all year long. It may go down in history.
I thought you were going to say ever.
Well, it may go down in history as the best play ever. But Matthew freaking Cleveland with 1 second on the clock.
1.1 second.
Takes the inbound, has his feet set, launches a ball into the air for a last-second play. Swish. 3-pointer to beat Virginia. Matthew Cleveland. You are the king of Tallahassee.
I hate Virginia when it comes to basketball, so I didn't mind it. So it was a good game to watch. It was definitely fun. I'm happy for you guys. The AJ show says, do we have to win 1 or 2 games? So last we read it was 2 games, but that was before we played Auburn. So we beat Auburn, which is probably going to help. Again, these next 2 games are going to determine what we do in the SEC tournament. If we lose these next 2, I would say we need to at least win 2 or more. If we beat Kentucky, I think we've got I think we could probably get away with 1, but it all just depends on what kind of these next 2 games, how that plays out. Kino Cusack says that was crazy. I think he's talking about your 3-pointer there, Stevie.
I mean,
it was pretty sweet.
I don't know how you look.
The whole weekend was crazy.
You don't have to be an FSU fan, yeah. You don't have to be an FSU fan, but it was
to
just
respect
an amazing play. Yeah.
Oh, Muddy Waters is coming at you. He said, "Lucky shot by FSU." Muddy Waters, great question. If Mike White doesn't make the tournament, does he deserve to come back next year? I say yes. I really do. We've made a few videos about this on whether or not, hey, is it time for him to go? Again, I don't know, man. It sucks because we broke it down on his recruiting, on the coaching, on the players. I'm gonna have to see how that game goes. That's gonna be my call. If they look good against Kentucky, I'll say yes. If they look completely flat-footed and off, and again, it's crazy to do it off of 1 game, but that's kind of where he's at. I mean, he's deciding his fate right now on how these kids come out and play. They go out and lose by like a buzzer beater or whatever it may be. Cool. They win. All right. He's still not safe, but he definitely has moved his just like when people come in for an interview at work. Right? How I look at it, if they come in late or come in not dressed professionally, they start underneath the bar, right? And they've got to earn points to get back up. Right now, Mike White is floating around the line of neutral and probably a little bit below it. So he's got to get some points to get himself above that line for me to go yes.
He showed up on time. He showed up well dressed. The content may be a little bit of a subjective moment at this point. But look, I mean, it's not that he doesn't have a good body of work. I mean, I want to say that Florida's gone to the 16 a couple of times. Did they go to the 8? I want to say
they went to the 8 one time. So they've been to the tournament every year since he's been here since the first year. They went to the NIT. They went to the Elite 8 one other year, but every other year has just been to the 16, which is, again, we talked about, to be a steady coach in college basketball, it's just making a tournament. If you can make a healthy run, then that's also good too. But AJ says Mike needs to go. That's his opinion. What were you saying? Yeah, Ryan Bork says Mike White ain't going nowhere. I really don't think that he is. It's just, what else are you going to go out there and get?
That's the other thing. Like, who's the guy? Who's the hot topic right now that's going to be like who you go find and plug him in and think that you're going to get another coach that goes to the tournament every year? 16, 8, 16, 16, 16, 8. I mean, it's just I don't know who Florida fans think is out there chomping at that job. Oh, you see what I did there? But chomping at that job in ready to go. It's just I think Mike White's doing a hell of a job, man. I'm not going to lie. I mean, look, I think the problem for Florida fans is that they had Billy Donovan, who was
great,
amazing. And
yep.
it's just difficult because any coach you get after that, you're always going to hold him to that standard.
Absolutely, he's living in that shadow for sure. That's a great point.
Whoever coaches Alabama after Saban, good night. Good night.
Oh, dude.
There's no chance. They have no shot. There's no ability for them to even present themselves as successful in that scenario because the bar was set so high. Billy set the bar high, and I don't think Mike is doing a bad job. I just don't think he's Billy Donovan. And that makes it tough for him.
No, those are solid points. Mark Hambrick says Florida is a premier school. We should expect greatness in every sport. And again, that's kind of where we're battling. We've talked about this with Billy Napier on we don't have enough patience or give these coaches enough time to build to lay a foundation, in the words of Billy Napier. So I think Mike definitely has had time to build that foundation. I also think he's probably commenting towards storming the core, like we expect to be great, so we shouldn't be rushing the core. I think he was probably commenting to that as well. But yeah, again, they are a premier school, but it's still with the excitement and everything like that. It's I'm commenting to both sides here on what he was saying too. I still like the storming of the court, but at the same time,
you have to realize going off here.
Yeah, we're not gonna be able to keep up here with you guys. You guys are flying through them.
I love it.
Let me see here. What do we got going on? Kinu Cusack says, I wish college football had a playoff like college basketball. I disagree a little bit. I think we need to expand it, right? Maybe that's what he's implying, like, hey, it needs to be a bracket more like 12, which we've talked about. I guess it would be one and done. It would be the kind of the same thing.
We do have that. It's
just not that. I think. Well, no, he's saying he wants college football to be like basketball. I think he's referring to it being bigger.
Well, I mean, they're already talking about expanding to 16 teams where you have your
12 or 16.
12, 16.
Yeah, 12 would be a sweet spot.
Way, right? So, I mean, if you're a conference champion and you're in the Power 5 league, if you're a conference champion, you're automatically in, right? So there's 5 that are given. So football is trending towards the same model that basketball has now. Now, are they going to let these weird schools that some of us have never, like Manhattan, the Mad Hatters? Like, probably not. But that being said, I mean they are trending towards like opening things up to a lot of teams to have a shot at fighting their way in.
Sure. And so this is a great question. This is what they're arguing about right here down in the comments below. Is Florida's basketball's expectation to make the tournament every year or make it deep every once in a while? So it's a great question, right? But if I'm looking at it, I would like to go deep, right, every once in a while. But I think to go deep every once in a while, like I did with your mom last night, you have to make the tournament. you have to make the tournament almost consistently, right? Because just odds and numbers, they have to play in your favor. To come in and be that best team that one year, like, oh, this is the year we're going to go deep, the chances of you going deep are very hard. And again, that's why to be a great like I
did your dad last night.
To be a great college basketball coach is to make in the tournament because anything can happen. I think, yeah. Carrie says both. I think that's kind of where the magic is of the tournament is you have to make it because once you're there, anything can go. I mean, we've seen teams that are supposed to be dominant, like that Virginia team that was the number 1 seed that lost to a 16 seed. That team was supposed to win it all, and they didn't. So it's hard to say, hey, I want them to be good once in a while. Well, what happens when they are good that once in a while and they still get beat? So I think we understand the tournament is a crazy place. So I would say if I had to pick, honestly, it'd be making the tournament every year because now I know at least I have a shot every year. Regardless if we have the best team there, I know our opportunity is great every year we walk in there.
Look, I don't think any school would say that going into the tournament, regardless of how you do, going into the tournament is the bar, and that's not the basement. That's not the ceiling. Getting into the tournament and having an opportunity to have a shot at the championship, I just think that across the board, regardless of what school you're at, whether it's Florida, Florida State, Kentucky, North Carolina, Gonzaga, right? It doesn't matter. If you get into the tournament, that is the measuring stick of whether or not you did well. Now, look, I understand everybody wants to win, but if you go into the 16, if you go into the 8, if you get into the 4, like heaven forbid you get into the final and you miss, that's because other teams are good too.
Sure.
And I know everybody wants to win. That's the key, right? Everybody wants to be able to tip their cap on saying that we're a champion. But getting into the field for the tournament is the measuring stick.
Sure.
Outside of that, I don't know if you really want to put anything else on it. Like, well, so if I get into the tournament, but I don't get into the Elite Eight at least 4 out of 5 times, then my coach sucks.
Yeah.
What the hell are we talking about here?
Yeah, I would agree. I enjoy watching the tournament, and I enjoy being able to click it on, and even if it's for one game, to watch Florida. Again, just the excitement of, hey, when they're not favored and hey, they could be an upset type of style team, that's fun too. So again, as a fan, I think making the tournament every year is definitely the goal.
I agree. And if you can't make the tournament consistently, then you start to ask questions, because you're not measuring well against your conference. Right, you're not playing well enough through the regular season, right? You have your play-in games before the conference tournament or the conference stuff starts, but then you're also not playing well enough in your conference tournament. And then, if that's the case, if you can't get there, then you're on the middle of the pack of your own conference, and that's outside the lines of where we want our teams to be. Right.
Sure.
But if you're in the damn thing, if you're in the tournament and you got a shot, I think that any coach that gets you in there consistently deserves to stay.
Muddy said he lost faith last year, and a lot of people did in Mike White after they lost to Oral freaking Roberts with a few minutes left in the second round. That was brutal. That one definitely hurt. And again, he made a good run. We talked about it at the beginning of this year when they started off 6-0, but he hasn't. Again, it's been a little unstable the last few weeks here. So we'll see how this pans out. We're getting some hot topics, some things moving around about the Florida news with what's going on the football side. Now, I want to tie this into the basketball side a little bit before we get into this. What Billy's doing right now from recruiting and the marketing that's happening and the propaganda that's being pushed, the Dream Team, the Dream 23 team, Jordan Jeter, right? It has been exceptional. I'm telling you. So it hasn't felt like this from a Florida fan since the 05s, the 06, the 07s, the 08s when basketball and football was good, right? That was a hell of a time. We're not there. I'm not saying we're there because obviously we're not winning, but the energy feels like that, right? Baseball's doing really well right now. Girls basketball's doing really well right now. So my point is, if Billy comes in and kind of really changes this wave and changes the momentum to winning football again, and to Florida being that great team in Florida again, make UF great again, Mike White's seat's going to get even hotter than it was. Because now, hey, you've got to fit into this culture that we're creating again. It's always been there. We always like, hey, Florida, we expect to win. I totally agree, but it definitely went away for a little bit. And I hate to say it, but it did. It just, I don't know what happened, but it kind of dwindled down where obviously we wanted to win, but it felt like we were always playing catch up, right? And now with what Billy's doing, it's seeming to be like, hey, we're setting the tone now. And with that, we've got 11 5-star recruits, one of those being Arch. So we're changing the month of March to Arch because this is all happening in March. This was a Steve joke. I'm not going to take credit for that. And then 29 4-star recruits. There's a total of 53 new recruits coming to visit in March. Now, I was trying to look it up to see all of them, and I had, at first, when the news started flying through, I had, like, some names written down. But then it got so far out of hand, I'm like, this is ridiculous. There's just so many people. I mean, again, it's all big names. All these kids that are like they're top ranked in their position that are coming to visit in March, and it's beyond exciting. It's huge for the program. It's not just for football, but for everything. It's just setting a tone. The whole, like we talked about this, who he's been hiring for the marketing team and the recruiting team, it's paying dividends. There is some studs that are coming. There's a lot of guys that are coming, a lot of kids that are coming out and saying, I love when I visited Florida. I love the energy there. I want to go play there. I want to be part of that, which is huge to be happening right now. And again, I was like, hey, 2023, a lot's going to happen, but if you can get this momentum now and get these kids to stick, and then we have a good season next year, it's going to be huge, man. It's going to be huge. What are comments saying?
You have 19 quarterbacks to pick from, so I think you guys will be in good shape at least from that position.
Sure.
Look, what Billy's doing right now, I think is great. Like there's positive energy. He's bringing recruiters that have connections from Louisiana, South Florida, just about any and everything that you could hope for. So far, so good. And like if I were a Florida fan, I'd be very excited. That being said, I'm not. So Florida State has their own recruiting powerhouse coming through here on the 5th of March.
Okay.
Look, it looks like Cedric Brown, who's a 5-star running back, is going to be there. Robbie Washington, he's another defensive back athlete hybrid that's going to be there, 5-star guy. Look, this is the beauty of the spring, right? Is that you get your players back into the program, you get them back into practice, you start to get the ebb and the flow. You have your spring game, which is, who do you root for? The offense or the defense? They both win. It's a win-win.
Sure,
scenario.
but it's good. It's going to be good to see the guys on the field. Go ahead.
No, just to get him back, and look, I think right now for FSU, for Florida, like this is the perfect time that you just want to watch what's happening. You want to watch what the coaches are doing. You want to watch the development of the program and kind of the infrastructure and what they're putting in place and some of the back end things that aren't always like, ESPN, top 10 highlights. So like Matthew Cleveland draining it. But it's just fun to watch. This is a great,
absolutely.
if you're a college football fan, this is a fun time of year.
Absolutely. So the rankings right now, though, we're only ranked 42nd still in 2023. We haven't had any commits, so we haven't moved our number at all. But interesting that is Notre Dame is number 1. They are ranked first for 2023, followed by Arkansas, and then Georgia. And Florida State's ranked 14th. Now, again, a lot of time left to be left on the table, but it was just I was looking up where Florida was, and I figured I'd look everyone else up. But something, okay, Muddy Waters said something. A few comments really quick here. Corey Johnson says, hey, y'all, keep up the good work. You guys have a really entertaining thing going. Hey, man, we appreciate that, man. Thank you for stopping by and then commenting. We love the energy. Muddy Waters says the number 1 cornerback and top 5 player from Lakeland's mom tweeted out yesterday and said she was speechless and raved about Napier's birthday message video. Now, that was really cool. I don't know if you saw that. They sent him a little message video. Another point I wanted to bring up about the mom tweeting out was they had a family day recently where they invited the players' families. They had photos hanging from the ceilings of the players and their families and whatnot. And it's something new that Florida's done. It was, again, they've had kind of a family day, but bringing everybody in this early on. And it's Billy really trying to put together this family atmosphere in Florida. And to me, at first, I didn't know how to think about it, right? I was like, I mean, it's cool. I like it a lot. I love the energy. But what I'm liking about it more and more is it's just him separating himself from everybody else, right? It seems so simple to do, but I think it's impactful, right? When you bring the mom and the dad and the brothers and the sisters and you have everybody in to be part of something, it just brings you all closer together, right? And then that's how you win championships to me, is when you feel that bond and that connection with everybody. When you know your player, but when you know him a little bit further than that, and you have a deeper connection, it's going to have an impact. What am I missing here? Anything else?
No. I mean,
Oh,
you're spot on. So Muddy's also asking
but
how
FSU.
FSU's NIL money,
Yep.
is it an advantage? So FSU has a program called the Rising Spear. And
Sounds
it
like everyone
is
has one of those now.
specific. Yeah, I
Yep.
mean, yes, it is true. It's outside the boosters, but it's specifically designed for NIL money. Like so, you can be a booster of FSU, and then you can still contribute to the Rising Spear. And it has not been slow for their contributions. From everything I've seen, from the monthly board of directors and the booster information that I get monthly, it's gone extremely positive. So, well, I don't look now. Look, I don't know how it's used. I don't know what the strategy is on where it goes. I'm not going to pretend to say that I'm the treasurer of this thing uh, by any stretch of the imagination.
It's basically a GoFundMe
pretty
for
much,
yeah.
a
Florida
GoFundMe
has one as
for
well. Florida has it as well. To me, when I see that, like, it's a GoFundMe account, so we can get these kids dialed in and ready to go. So
it's unbelievable where we are with this by now. But by the way, but I'll leave that for a different conversation.
a cool little insight. I've been collecting cards again lately, getting back into the card game. And with the NIL money now, I saw some guy the other day. He posted. I have another quarterback, but he posted a signed card from Anthony Richardson, which was pretty cool. I mean, that's kind of rare, right? You don't really. Prior to this, that wasn't really a rookie card. Sorry, or not a rookie card, but a college card, obviously, because he's only in his second year. So they took all the Florida logos off because I think of rights and whatnot. But that brand was able to, and I actually bought one of those packs the other day and got a couple of kids in college and got their signed stuff. So it's kind of cool to see where it's headed from a fan perspective. You're able to get that merchandise even sooner now. We'll see how that kind of portrays and if there's any value to that later on. But it was just kind of something cool that I noticed. So we will see. We will see on that. Moving on. Okay. I'm a little nervous about this, Steve. I don't know if we're gonna run into a wall here. We're gonna switch.
Hold on. Let's just preface this real fast. Before we even get into this topic, we're just talking about it. We don't have a stance on the matter. We're just saying it's a newsworthy topic. And Shelton, I'll let you be the
yeah. So we're switching over to PGA here, and the reason why this is big news. We've talked about PGA before with Brooks Koepka and the Bryson DeChambeau noise, but Phil Mickelson, old lefty, he's loved from everybody. Like I can't find a person that hates Phil. I've always called him a square, but he's still fun to watch. Especially the old guys, they love Phil. The guy's good. He knows what he's doing. But he got himself into some hot water, and now he's been dropped by KPMG, I believe, as a sponsor, which has been his go-to forever. I mean, anybody who's watched golf or knows golf, if you see KPMG, you know that's Phil. And they just dropped his ass this past weekend. From his comments, and I'll pull those comments up here, in regards to a new golf league that's trying to compete with the PGA. And Saudi Arabia is running it, called the Super League, I believe. And he's writing a book. Now, I actually have a conspiracy, okay? I thought about this, and I didn't tell you this because I wanted to save it. So I actually have something to comment. But he said they're scary motherfuckers to get involved with. Speaking of Saudi Arabia, we know they killed the Washington reporter Jamel and have a horrible record on human rights. They execute people over there for being gay. Knowing all this, why would I even consider it? Because it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to reshape how the PGA Tour operates. So this was a comment that he made to who did he make it to? Gosh, the guy who's writing a book about Phil. Apparently it was a conversation between the two of them. At first, when this came out, Phil said, "I thought this was off the record," which didn't do Phil any favors because it's like, what does that matter?
Right.
1, 2. If it was off the record, this guy's career could be a little tainted from it. I don't know. But 3, and again, this is a long shot here. But here's my take. We've seen this before. We've seen a golfer kind of get his shit kind of ransacked through and lose sponsorships and then slowly make the greatest comeback of all time, that being Tiger Woods. Okay? The guy fell off the face of the earth and then comes back and wins the Masters, and we all love him again. Nobody hates Tiger anymore.
He fell off the face of a cliff.
That was later on, but
Oh,
that
okay.
was later on.
Sorry.
Yeah. He gets beat up by his wife, and then he comes back and makes a great comeback, and that's the Tiger story, right? To me, these comments are definitely, I guess you could say, a little off the wall. This is where we're not going to get involved because we're a little ignorant on this, because I didn't feel it was that intense to lose everything. Was it a little much to say, hey, these guys are scary motherfuckers? Sure. I don't know. It's frustrating what we live in now. We can't say anything without being completely roasted. But my point of it is the new book comes out May 17th. May 17th is when that book is released. Who would go out and buy a Phil Mickelson book out of their own? I like golf, and I wouldn't. But now with all this going on, I want to know what else Phil's saying off the record.
I'm hell bent. I can't wait, because look, I mean, the other thing is Mickelson had a little bit of a rivalry with Tiger. Like they weren't the best of friends, and I think that from a media standpoint, they were pretty clear that they didn't get along. Now, look, outside of the sport, do they probably get along? Yeah, they'd knock back one if they had to together. But that being said, like Phil Mickelson and Tiger Woods were, they were a little choppy at times.
Sure.
I'm almost curious what else. Who else is Phil? What else is he holding back, or what else was maybe if the author of this book is going to throw him out there for the Saudi Arabia thing, what's in the book?
Or if the book's going to come out now, I don't know. I don't know where the laws play.
I'm a damn for sure buy it. I'm going to read it.
Okay, so Kerry, I'm glad you mentioned this. So he said Phil deserves everything he gets, and this is what I was talking to you about, Steve, too. So Kerry said they dropped him because he actually considered the deal. They didn't care what he said, and this is what I was thinking. But everything we kept looking up, because he said, hey, screw like Saudi Arabia, they're crazy, blah, 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 blah. Why would I consider the deal? And the deal is basically competing with the PGA. And he goes, well, I'm considering it because the PGA is a joke too. And then proceeded to bash the PGA. So that was my thought. Like maybe he's getting shitted on because he shitted on the PGA. To me,
went too far. Yep.
That would make more sense why KPMG would drop him, because I'm sure PGA and KPMG have I'm hoping I'm saying the right acronym here, have some sort of tie. That to me makes total sense. But there wasn't any of that though. When I look everything up, it's like he's apologizing for his Saudi Arabia comments. And like it just, all of it seems very vague. And maybe that's what it is like the PGA doesn't want to come out and say, hey, it's because you hurt our feelings. Because if that's the case, to me, that's a little soft on PGA's part, but it would make more sense.
Yep. No, in that seems more plausible, because the PGA, you work for us at this point. Like, what other option do you have? Clearly, even based on the fact that there's another organization trying to establish themselves doing what we're doing, I don't think the PGA really cares if Phil Mickelson doesn't like who they are. I mean, there's a million NFL players that don't like the NFL.
Sure.
Doesn't mean
that's a good point.
And they just kind of swat them off like a gnat.
Yeah, whatever. Shut up.
You're just you're annoying, but whatever.
But to that though,
I don't think that's the reason.
The NFL it's popular to hate the NFL. It's not popular to hate the PGA. So he's kind of maybe like the first guy to really speak out against them. And Muddy Waters even says, and this is kind of where my conspiracy of the book came, says he'll be fine. ESPN isn't blowing it up like they did for Urban or AB. And that was my thing. Is like it's kind of like a weird underground story. Like yeah, and again, Juwan Howard, another point, Juwan Howard gets in a fist fight at a basketball game. To me, I love that. That to me wasn't that big of a deal. I didn't really think, like, guys get hot. We're in the middle of a game. I don't know what was said or who said what, but talking shit, I love it. I love when coaches get a little fiery. So, like, and he's right. Like, that got more heat than anything else. So,
yep. Look, it is what it is. I mean, like what he has to say is completely his own. He can opine however he chooses. I don't know if like the cancel culture thing, which I think
he'll be fine. I think it's just I think it's book ratings at this point.
At this point, all he has to do is just keep being Phil. Phil doesn't need money at this point. Like if he does, he's been doing things wrong. But
sure,
he'll be fine. Like
sure.
sometimes bad publicity is
that's
good publicity. It's just publicity.
That's the point.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have one last thing. We're going to do something a little new here in the spirit of March Madness. Okay, this is something that gets talked about all the time. If we're going to do a little bracketology. Okay, we are going to take the past. We took 16, the past 16 national college football champions, and put them into a bracket. Now, Bama won 6 of those, so we only took 2 Bama teams, and I just went online. I top 10. Hold on. I looked up the top Bama teams of all time, and then out of our 6 years, and 20 and 09 were the top two. So those were the top 2 Bama teams that I took for this, because we want to get into the early 2000s with the 01 Miami, USC, and Texas, and I think Ohio State from 02. So with that being said, I put all these names into a randomized name generator to give us a seeding, because how do we seed these guys? Like, I don't know, right? Because if we're seeding them, then we already have an insight. So we want it to be as random as possible, and we're going to see if we can agree to disagree on the greatest college football teams of all time. If we have a hiccup, we're probably going to go to you guys. We're going to go to you guys for your insight on what you feel. Who do you feel we should go for? Who we should choose? All right. So moving on to, let's do the first one here. We've got LSU 19 versus Florida 06. Steve, I'm going to let you go first on who you think should win this. I know who I want.
LSU 19.
That was Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase.
That was Joey Burrow. Oh man, I'm hard pressed to take anybody other than LSU with the Joey Burrow offense. I mean, they broke every record.
I couldn't agree more. That was a good 06 team, but that 19 team was absolutely nasty. So we're gonna move on to 19.
I was upset myself because they broke FSU's record for the most offensive points scored in a single year. And so look, I mean, if you're going to steal my soul and take the one last glory that FSU has in winning the way that they did, LSU in 2019.
Hey, we've got some comments already. 2006 Florida, hands down by Ryan, and then we got Muddy Waters. 01 Miami beat best team ever. Don't get ahead of us, Muddy. We're not there just yet.
Muddy.
So we got one vote for Florida, but I think we're gonna get most agreements that we're right on path here. Going back to the next, let's go down to Florida 08 and Clemson 16. Now, I let my one Florida team get beat. I'm not letting the Florida 08 team go down. I really think the Florida 08 team is better than that 16 Clemson team.
The 08 defense was better than the 6 for Florida,
and the offense was better.
Give them that.
It was it was a primed Tebow. It was a primed Percy Harvin. It was a primed team.
If I'm not mistaken, the 6 was your hybrid between Chris Leak and Tebow. So Tebow hadn't really become what he inevitably was. So I'll take that. I'll take Florida in that one. I
appreciate that. Oh, this is tough. This is tough. See, this is why we did it random, because it kind of sucks what these matchups are happening. But Bama 09 and Miami 01. Now, I don't quite remember that 09 Bama team. I want to say Julio Jones was on that team. If I'm not mistaken, I might be too late. Can you pull it up for us, Steve?
Yeah, let me jump on that. So, gosh,
I'm going to say Miami 01.
I would say it was. Oh, look, had it not been for here. I know Bama has more opportunities in this.
You want to just go Miami?
Bracket. I'm going to go Miami because let's be honest. Like, if it wasn't for a phantom pass interference call, Miami wins that game. It wasn't until that phantom pass interference call.
Miami was champion in 01. They were the champion. I took the champions from all that.
I thought that was OSU. Oh no, that was not OSU.
Yeah.
Oh, is that when they beat Nebraska?
I believe. Yeah. So Muddy Waters said Julio Jones was sophomore in 09. So that was the Julio Jones team. I still think the 01 Miami team was better. We in agreement?
I'll stick with that. Yeah, let's go.
All right, this next one's the easy one for me. It's going to be a no-brainer. It's the Ohio State 14 versus FSU 13. Listen, man, this is going to be tough, I know, but that Ohio State team was hands down, it could be considered one of the greatest college football championship teams of all time. I mean, I want to say that was the year of Zeke, okay? Absolute just powerhouse of a football team. Urban was the head coach. I don't see how any team on this list can beat them.
Really?
I'm just kidding. No, I completely went to Selmo there for a second. I'm not gonna not pick FSU for you here. Look, I think neither of these teams are gonna make it, so it's kind of like a wishy-washy. But I agree that FSU team was that Ohio State team was good. Don't get me twisted. But
I agree. But look, I mean, the starting 22, the 11 on offense, the 11 on defense for Florida State, all got drafted. There's no chance in hell.
Jalen was on that team, wasn't he? It was Jalen.
Oh, absolutely. He was a freshman.
It was Dalvin, right? Was it Dalvin?
No.
No.
It was he played for Atlanta. Freeman.
Devontae Freeman. That's right. Yes, Devontae. Yep. Devontae was a freak. Devontae, Jalen, Jameis.
Dalvin was a freshman the next year when they lost to Oregon.
Okay. Great
yes,
team.
but I mean, like Kelvin Benjamin,
Kelvin Benjamin. God, what could have been? What could have been?
Well, he just got fat.
He was.
Fat.
He
went from a wide receiver to a tight end.
So Kerry Johnson's saying, Mark Ingram was a running back. I think he's saying in 2009, but he's saying that OSU team was a beast. I can't pick OSU. I hate Ohio State, so I'm going to take FSU for you on that one. All right, this is another good one. Man, I'm so glad we did it random because we're shooting down powerhouses. This bottom half of the bracket to me feels like it's going to be kind of weak because we went through some studs in that first half there. So we've got this past Georgia team, which was a stud of a football team. Now, we can't really see how it's going to play out because of how new the players were, right? Like a part of our pitch is like, hey, 22 guys got drafted to the NFL. Well, they got Stetson Bennett as their quarterback. Like nobody would have thought like, if you look at this team 10 years from now, I go, who the hell is Stetson Bennett? You know what I mean? But that's kind of where we're at. Versus the USC, which this was USC's heyday in 2004. I don't know, man. my heart's telling me one, and my brain's telling me another.
All right, so what year we got?
21 past Georgia, and then 2004 USC, which I'm pretty sure was it Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush?
Yeah, Reggie, and then but they had like Mike Williams. I mean, hell, that defense wasn't bad either. That was they had the linebackers that are just like AJ Hawk, I want to say, and then
I think you're right.
No, who's the one that got jacked up on steroids? He played for the Texans.
I'm looking him up now. I got to see.
He got popped for steroids a couple times. But
Steve Smith, Matt Leinart. I was right on that one. Matt Castle. Oh, Matt Castle was a starter. My goodness. Reggie Bush.
Look, my issue with this is that Hawk was at OSU. You're right.
Yep, he was.
Kerry, you're 100% right. Gosh, I can't remember that guy's name. He was a linebacker for it was Cushing. Thank you.
Cushing.
Kerry.
Yes, Cushing.
My
goodness.
That everybody always thinks about like USC being this offensive powerhouse, which they were. They were just a machine out there. But their defense was good, and everybody kept saying, "Well, it's because the hack, it's just nothing but offense. I mean, I don't know.
Let's
defense on that one.
I feel like you're leading US. You're leading USC.
I'm going USC.
Let's leave it to the audience. What do you guys think? Let's do a vote. We'll skip this one for now, but either Georgia or USC. Because this one's tough. I think there's too much. It's closer than I think it should be, but it's close. So I want to hear you guys' thoughts. What do you guys think? We'll come back to it. Look, we're here having fun. I don't think either of these teams are going to win it all, anyways. But I want to do we're gonna phone a friend. We're gonna pass it over to you guys. So we'll come back and see what they say. Auburn 10 or Bama 20.
Clay Matthews. That was the other one.
Clay Matthews.
That's who I was thinking of.
Oh, you said AJ Hawk. Yeah. Yes, Clay Matthews. That's why I was thinking. When you said AJ Hawk too, that's what I was thinking with Clay Matthews. Yes. Oh, God. So that Cushing and Matthews. Goodness gracious. Okay, this one's an easy one. This is going to be a no-brainer. We don't even need to waste any time with it. It's Auburn 10, which was the Cam Newton Auburn, which was, again, a good team. But I don't feel like the teams they played that year were that tough. And it was the Bama 20 Bama, which was last year's Bama, which was an incredible Bama, which was a Najee Harris Bama, a Mac Jones Bama. If you don't know where I'm going, it's Bama.
All right, so what's the matchup real fast? Who's the other one?
Auburn, 2010. Yeah. Yeah. Should we waste any more time than we already have, Steven?
Well, no. Until Auburn can beat Bama consistently in anything, then I'd say Bama. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Okay, look, we got some votes in. We've got USC. Then, wait, Mark said USC. Then he said USC. No way. I go Georgia. Reggie Bush is a beast. Kerry, who do you guys got? We need USC and Georgia. That's who we're getting.
This isn't for us to pick.
Waters, give us some love here. Ryan, where are we at here? Come on, Mark. Mark's at USC. We got one on the board for USC. Clemson 18 or Texas 05.
Oh man, gosh, you're talking.
That was a Trevor Lawrence Clemson, I believe.
Yeah,
had to have been.
It was. Ooh. Gosh, that was the game that literally every wide receiver for Clemson came out of the woodwork and just caught every damn ball thrown. It was unbelievable. And then we're going Texas. We're going
Vince Young era.
Vince Young got an 8 on the on the Wonderlic test, so I'm gonna go with Clemson. He was so dumb.
Let me see. We're not even gonna. We're going Clemson. I'm feeling Clemson too. I was looking the roster up for 18, but I'm thinking Clemson too. I agree. All right, let's go back. Let's go back to the comments here. Did we get a finalized on who? Oh, Kerry's saying Texas. We've already moved on. All right, we've got a clean sweep for USC. A clean sweep.
Yep, they got it.
I love it. I love the energy. Oh, I skipped one too. My goodness. Okay, we've got Ohio State 02 and LSU 07. I don't remember too much of the Ohio State 02 team, to be honest with you. I don't recall that team that much. The LSU 07 team, I remember that team. That was a solid team.
Yeah, they beat Oklahoma, I believe.
Yeah, that was a solid team. I think this honestly could be a coin toss. I really do.
It's 20 years ago.
I know. That's why it's
what the hell are you doing to me right now?
this is about a minute ago.
Yeah, was Kirk Herbstreit quarterback for OSU then? He wasn't. That's a joke.
I'm reading the team. Hold on. Oh, Waves, I joined the stream late tonight. Hope you guys are having a good night. Waves, we were having a great night, man. Thanks for joining in late. LSU had 2 losses. OSU beat Miami. Ooh, look at Kerry coming in with the
Maurice Claret. It was Maurice Claret. That was the game that I was referring to. That had it not been for the last second like weird pass interference.
Kerry, you sold me. I'm taking Ohio State on that one. I'm cool with that. Yeah. All right, let's start from the bottom and go to the top because I want Florida to be on this bracket as long as possible. We got Clemson 18 versus Bama 20. To me, this is a no-brainer. I don't see that Clemson Clemson team almost. No. I don't. I'm pretty sure that Bama team beat a version of that Clemson 18 team.
They did. Yeah, they did. Yeah, a few years later.
So
yeah,
they've done it for us.
Bama all day.
Yep, Bama all day.
Yep.
Ohio State 02 or USC. I'm taking USC. I'm taking USC.
Carry with the call out. Nice job, buddy.
What did he say?
Craig Krenzel.
Gotta get this guy on. This guy's all over it, man.
Carrie, where the hell have you been?
Yeah, Muddy said Ohio State ended 22-game win streak. So
true.
Moving on that. Okay, so USC or Ohio State 02. I'm taking USC all day. I think from what we just determined from the first half of the conversation, it's USC with no brainer.
Versus what year of Bama?
No, it's Ohio State versus USC. Ohio State 02.
Oh, yeah, for that year of USC, I that's going to go deep into the playoffs for this. That was just the team just didn't miss on anything. They had wide receiver talent, they had quarterback talent, they had running back talent, they had a defense. They had an amazing coach who is, a Super Bowl winning coach now.
Sure.
So
Sure.
I'm going to go USC.
USC. Perfect. So these next two are tough because we've both got heart in the game here. So we've got to be real here, Steve. Okay. All right. We got the 0-1 Miami team versus the FSU 13 team.
FSU.
Are you just saying that because it's your team, or you truly believe that? Frank Gore was the third string in Miami. They had Ed Reed, Ray Lewis. Who was the wide receiver there? Was it Marv? Was
Moss?
No, it wasn't Moss. Who was the wide receiver there? That team was that team was a stud of a football team and would eat anybody for breakfast. I can't give you FSU there. I'm sorry.
What are you talking about?
I cannot give you FSU. I can't.
Who was the quarterback in 2001 Miami? Hold on. I'm looking this up.
We got Carey with Miami. That's one vote for Miami. I can't give you FSU, Steve. I'm sorry. We might have to pass it to the fans. Muddy Waters, what's your thoughts? Where's Mark at? Where's Mark? Where's Mark? Let us know what you think, Mark.
Ken Dorsey, we beat them that year.
Andre Johnson. That's who it was. Stud.
Oh, Willis McGahee.
Oh,
dude.
Steve.
Clinton Portis, Najee Davenport,
Steve.
Willis McGahee.
Steve.
There's no chance in hell.
There's
no chance in hell. That's a better team than what FSU.
Mark said FSU. Oh, it's going. Uh-oh.
I'm telling you.
Okay.
There's no chance. Ken Dorsey was a fucking
Reggie Wayne, Shockey, Winslow, Dorsey, Muddy Waters is on my side. He might be the tiebreaker if we don't have another voice come in.
Look, the 2001 Miami team had the most players drafted for any school in the first round. That's true. But
Mark said Miami. Mark said Miami. You lost your vote.
Oh my!
It's a sweep. We're moving on. We're moving on.
I hate this game.
We're moving on. Yes. All right. Florida 08, LSU 19. I'm gonna throw
LSU
you
19.
I'm gonna ask our audience. Hey, I know you guys aren't Gator fans. Who do you pick? I'm gonna be honest with you. It's kind of tough, man. That Florida 08 team was kind of good, Steve. That Florida 08 team.
It was good. It was good.
Waves even said Miami. It was a clean sweep.
Good.
We're gonna pass it back to them then.
What I'm saying,
guys, let us know why he talks. Let us know why he talks.
We do it this way. We give the crowd.
Mark said Florida.
Fans,
Mark said Florida.
People. Oh my gosh, Mark.
Muddy said LSU. Muddy, I respect it.
And he says it unfortunately.
Yes, I'm leaning towards LSU, but I'm always we got Carey on Florida.
Oh my Christ.
UF, we had an amazing that's a 3-2er. LSU's 2019 defense wasn't that great. And see, that's kind of where I was starting to lean a little bit because that Florida defense was stupid good.
Yeah,
and now
Joey Burrow was going to beat everybody. It didn't matter what you put on the field. Joey Burrow was going to beat you. I hate to say it this way, but it didn't matter what defense you brought in, whether it was the 2013 FSU defense, whether it was the 2001 Miami defense, Joey Burrow was going to beat you. Period.
This is tough. I know we've got a heavy Florida fan base in here, so there's gonna be some. There's gonna be.
Yes. Look. Hey, we said we'll put it on them. They picked. If that's their pick, then they go.
Okay. Oh, you're respecting the fans?
Yeah. This isn't our podcast. This is their podcast.
This is very true.
Get on here and hop on.
I know, but I had a feeling LSU was going to win this whole thing. To be honest with you, that was kind of what my take was.
It would have been tough for me not to pick LSU. I mean, that was just a fucking really good team, dude.
It's because they're so recent too. That's true. Mark says our trashy Florida 19 almost beat LSU team. That team was overhyped, and I have heard that, but I don't know, man. That team just kind of carried. And again, Carey says UF had 2 All-Americans. Oh, this is so tough. This is tough.
Who was the quarterback of LSU when the shoe toss happened? Was it Joey?
No, that was the year after.
All right.
That was the
That's
year
what
after.
I thought. Okay. That's what I thought.
Let's come back to that. Let's just go. Let's hold off on it. I can't. 7 top 10 wins in 2019 LSU. That's what I'm saying. They beat a lot of good teams too. And then Kerry said they didn't face any defenses. Who'd they?
They play in the SEC. I thought every.
No, I feel like
SEC
LSU had a harder
godlike.
schedule, harder schedule than the 08 UF team. I really do. All right, USC 04 versus Bama.
Was it Burrow's first year? Kerry
No,
says
no,
it's Burrow's
no.
first year. I thought he only played 1 year, right?
Yeah, I only played 1 year. It was first year. It was Burrow in the shoe game. I don't think so. It was, Burrow. LSU beat Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, Bama, Florida, Auburn, and Clemson. Yeah, Max Johnson. That's what I thought. Yeah, it wasn't Burrow.
Yeah.
I knew it wasn't Burrow.
Yeah. That makes sense.
They
because
steamrolled
Brad
us.
Johnson's. It's what?
LSU steamrolled Florida when it was Burrow. Not the shoe throw.
Yo, boat raced you. It wasn't even a game.
Let's go to USC and Bama really quick. Let's wrap this up. USC and Bama. I'm taking Bama 20 over USC. I don't know. USC team's good, man. It's hard. It's tough. It's harder than I thought it would be.
Ooh.
I almost think that USC. Actually, I'm thinking USC only because they were better on both sides of the ball.
What year?
The 04. USC 04 on both sides of the ball. Again, it was the Cushing, it was the Clay Matthews. They got the Reggie Bush.
Yeah, Matt Leinart.
But I don't know, man. That Bama had Devontae
Reggie.
Smith, it had Jalen Waddle, it had Lee, it had Mac Jones, it had Najee Harris. I don't know, man.
Yeah, but Najee was he the start of that year?
Yeah, in the 20. Yeah, that was his last year. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He was the guy. Oh, this is so tough. This is harder than I thought I was going to be honest with you. I don't want to make the wrong call here.
I don't know, man. I'm
thinking USC.
I remember. Yeah, I'm going to go USC only because Reggie, Matt Leinart, they just didn't. Steve Smith.
Yeah, it was a solid team. It was a beast of a team.
It was a game.
They bought everybody, but they were a good team.
Yeah, I'll go USC on that.
All right, we got to go back to LSU and Florida 08. Oh, jeez. I'm taking Florida. The fans picked Florida. I'm not wrong here because they chose Florida. Now we got Florida versus Miami. I don't think we can choose Florida here, boys and girls.
What year?
01, 08 and 01. Nothing's changed, Steve.
I'm just making sure I'm looking at the right roster. So 01, golly. I mean,
it's Miami.
Yeah, Clinton Portis, Najee Davenport, Willis.
Oh,
McGahee,
now
Frank
the
Gore,
names are good.
Andre Johnson.
Now Steve's like, oh, look how good this team was, but it was against FSU.
Shockey. Kellen Winslow was a freshman before he went.
All right, Miami. We got Miami versus USC. I'm not picking USC.
No, as much as it pains me to say it, golly, that team was so effing good.
To be honest with you, when we started this, I thought I was going to have LSU up there, but these guys did a great job of changing my opinions on it. So,
yep, gosh,
Mark's all in on the 08 Florida team. Look, I agree. I think if I wanted to, I could pick them too, but that Miami team was stupid.
Antrell Roll, Ed Reed, my goodness, Philip Buchanan. I hate everything about what happened in 2001 in Miami.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Steve and I have to go to bed.
We're sick.
We're dying over here. Thank you guys for hanging on for an hour. We thought we were going to be a short cast. It's never short with you guys. Appreciate the comments. Appreciate the support. Thanks for hanging on for this long. We will be back on Wednesday, our normal scheduled time. We'll be live at 8:35. Guys, we're trying to hit 1,000 subs. If you're not subscribed, smash that sub button. Smash the like button too. Keep commenting. The algorithm loves it. So we can keep making these videos. Keep coming on here live. We'll see you guys on Wednesday. I'm Sheldon.
And I'm Holly.
Boogity, boogity, boogity. See ya.